Can you help me understand?
Why bother? It's not like the male voice even matters anymore.
Of course your voice matters, honey.
I think men and women need to know their place.
What?
Everything is backwards.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. I would like to start this video with this quote from Gandhi, and I quote, "First, they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, and then you win." End quote. We are winning, fellas, but unfortunately, this victory feels bittersweet because of its ugliness. It's like a Pyrrhic victory, in which the costs and consequences of winning outweigh the actual benefits gained. Not only men in general, but young men also face great challenges and experience hardships. This video highlights some of the issues facing teenage boys. It's aligned with the previously mentioned quote in that young men are often ignored, ridiculed, and even fought against just because of their gender. Many young men feel lost and are looking for answers. And a large proportion of these young men find their answers in the manosphere, which means that the mainstream media and feminism must discredit, ridicule, and fight anything related to it. This is chapter 2 of our Red Pill video breakdown series of The Power series on Amazon Prime. So make sure you watch our first video to get a better understanding of what we're presenting in this video. Shout out to the Patreon gang, salute! The original video is going to be on Patreon because we have to respect the YouTube guidelines. That's why you will get a censored and filtered YouTube friendly version. Certain clips will be frozen or excluded. So if you like what we do and you want to experience our content to the fullest extent, support us on Patreon. This video contains a lot of spoilers, so you've been warned. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we?
It's dangerous, not just politically. It is literally, actually dangerous. We have extra security detail monitoring all the threats we've been getting since you went public. Not to mention Urban Docs.
What is Urban Docs?
Who? He's a rabid misogynist who has a unique talent for rallying up disgruntled men. Completely anonymous, of course. Oh, and he uses this hyper-masculine avatar.
Well, so he's an angry virgin in a basement. Why do we care?
He has 9 million subscribers and counting. And you on his hit list.
I'll come back to some of the other things mentioned in this clip later, but this here makes the manosphere undeniable.
He has 9 million subscribers and counting.
Urban Docs is a representation of the whole manosphere because there's no content creator that has 9 million subscribers. However, Andrew Tate makes a strong case because he had over 4.7 million followers on Instagram before he got banned. In 2022, he was the most Googled man, and for the past 30 days, Andrew Tate has been searched 900,000 times. Check this out.
Are you seeing the evidence, though, of the influence?
Absolutely. I'm getting DMs from what appear to be early teen boys saying, "I hope Andrew Tate destroys you," or things along that line. When I was posting saying I won't speak of him, I'll do one Instagram story saying, "Please stop asking. I don't want to speak of him," because even seeing that just there makes me quite emotional, and I'm sure it does for all of us. I don't want to engage with that. I also get comments calling me Abby Tate and comments on TikTok especially. That's where it's really, really rife.
Andrew Tate is influencing teenage boys in a way that goes against the feminist message. And that brings us to the next point.
It's a simple law of nature. Every food chain has its apex. And in the food chain of Earth, that apex is us, men. Now, disruptions can happen. Once in a while, a new top dog shows up and tries to supplant the apex. You think it goes down like some peaceful transfer of power? No, the entire system.
Pay attention, guys. The background music immediately gives it away. The military soundtrack suggests that this teenager has been exposed to a militant, dominant force, and the apex predator pyramid in this context implies the message of male supremacy and men seeking control over women, especially in a dominant and oppressive form. That's the first thing the mainstream media leads with when they talk about the Manosphere and Andrew Tate. Check this out.
The National Police Chiefs League for Violence Against Women, the NSPCC, Rape Crisis, Safer Schools, they are all naming you as being behind an epidemic of misogyny, even amongst primary school children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynistic because I own a nice car. Is that your argument?
It's the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh, owning a nice car is misogynist.
No, it's the misogyny that comes along with it.
How does misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
You have an image of financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My attitudes towards women is that women should be protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online, you never mention it. I say that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to, I take care of her, I die to protect a woman. I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not. If you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said. And then you're going to sit here and pretend that I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage. Every single man in the world who loves his woman understands that he has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who would protect her. If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. When
you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over a child or a dog, it's not the same because a woman is a free, legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free, legal adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
Then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free and legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route because I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females.
Don't get it twisted, guys. This is not about liking Andrew Tate or not. Journalism is supposed to be objective. She entered this interview extremely biased. Her opinion was already made up, and it backfired on BBC because they did not show us the truth. However, Andrew Tate did with his 38-minute version of the interview. Mainstream media no longer have a monopoly on showing us what they want us to see. That's why BBC deleted their original version of the interview because they got completely destroyed in the comment section. They do the same thing in this series, and it's exactly why this space keeps growing. Check this out.
Not to mention Urban Docs.
What is Urban Docs?
Who? He's a rabid misogynist who has a unique talent for rallying up disgruntled men.
Well, so he's an angry virgin in a basement. Why do we care?
Is that Urban Dick guy?
Urban Docs.
Maddie, look at that. He's using a filter. You don't even know what this guy looks like. He hides his face. People who own their words and stand by their ideas like your mom don't have to hide their faces.
You listen to Urban Docs? You know he hates us.
No, he just doesn't agree with you.
Pure gold. We don't promote hatred, but we definitely disagree with this effing message. And because we disagree with their message, they immediately attack us with ad hominem arguments. Let's give you a real example of this foolishness.
So at peace and you love and you embrace the body that you're living in. But the reality is we live in a world that is incredibly fat phobic, right? And so you're gonna come into contact with people who don't have those same values about bodies that you do, right? And so, yes, it's like it definitely triggered my body image issues in ways that I wasn't necessarily anticipating.
Just because I'm not into fat women doesn't make me fat phobic.
The fact that he thinks that actually seems to speak to the likelihood that an egocentric man who is dating and upset man seems to be trying to speak to men in his video is not going to want to make allowances for a woman who has any other requirements or demands in her life, such as a job or children, such as the selfishness of narcissism.
Here's another one. Just because we don't date single mothers and want to care for another man's children doesn't mean we are egocentric or narcissistic. This comes from an experienced and respected psychologist, the foolishness. Fact of the matter is, men are not allowed to have preferences. Men are not allowed to have an opinion, and men are not allowed to have a voice. We've seen it many times that disagreeing with women can get you in a lot of trouble. And men, especially young men, are picking this up early. Check this out.
I've decided to run for Senate.
Congrats.
Thanks.
It's great. That's really great. I'm so proud of you. I know how hard you worked for this.
Well, you don't have my vote.
Oh, come on, Maddie. She's your mom.
You can't even vote anyways. You're 15.
Can you tell me why, Maddie? Can you help me understand?
No, why bother? It's not like the male voice even matters anymore.
Of course your voice matters, honey.
I think men and women need to know their place.
What?
Everything is backwards. Like even in this family. Dad does all the cooking. You never cook.
Well, that's because Dad is a better cook and he likes it.
I do like it. We play to each other's strengths. Go team Cleary Lopez, you know?
You emasculate him. And he just takes it.
That is not true. I mean, where did you even learn that word? Urban Docs?
You listen to Urban Docs? You know he hates us.
No, he just doesn't agree with you. We're still allowed to disagree, right? It's a free country.
Oh my God, you sound like a moron.
All right. Can you just stop?
What?
See, you don't want to hear what I really think. No one.
This is pure gold. We're making a separate video about the buffoon dad and the emasculated man because we're focusing on this part right here.
You listen to Urban Docs? You know he hates us.
No, he just doesn't agree with you. We're still allowed to disagree, right? It's a free country.
Oh my God, you sound like a moron.
All right.
This right here. She immediately attacks him personally using the F word at the family table. Just for listening to Urban Docs and saying that he doesn't agree with the feminist narrative. This is common in this series, where the girls are just a bunch of spoiled brats, angry at the world because men exist in it. Young men are picking this up early. She does it again. Check this out.
No need to be nervous. Just be natural. You know, just be you.
Yeah, totally organic. Pay no attention to the men in black sitting guard outside.
They're just here so the crazies can't get to us.
You don't call them that.
What else am I supposed to call people who literally light themselves on
He
fire?
was trying to make a point. The future of the human race is at stake, and by the way, Urban Doc's not encouraging violence. Okay, he's just encouraging men to stand up for their rightful place.
Oh my
Why
God,
don't you
he's
listen to
warping
him
your
before you just
feeble little
assume
brain.
shit?
What are you
That's
gonna
all
do about the
do.
fact that your son is being radicalized?
Oh, shut up. I'm not being radicalized.
All right.
What-
Sorry you feel that way.
You're being a child. What Mom is doing is important. Can you see that? We can't have men deciding what women do with their bodies.
What about men's bodies? What about my body? Look at my face.
I already said I was sorry. Mom.
Now, Urban Docs is right. All you females stick together.
Females, you sound like a bigot.
Hey, champ, come on.
Oh my goodness. You see why this is not gonna end well? You can't even call women females anymore because nowadays individuals can self-identify. Do you understand why men are opting out? Why young men rather play their video games instead of dealing with women? Every time Josh opened her mouth, she only resorted to ad hominem attacks, shaming language directed at Maddie, without offering any substantial points or contributions to the conversation. This is why these women get owned every time they get on these podcasts, because modern society is teaching them to just discredit everything a man says, including Dr. Phil.
Homer Simpson, they're that buffoon stereotype that we see in all the in sitcoms, or they're incompetent, right? What are you talking
You want to be needed, though? But do you want to be needed or want it?
I need 25, 26 years old. They're looking for that feminine.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I know.
No, you
Didn't stick on the
Coming
third
up,
one.
what is...
What Maddie says about the future of the human race being at stake is really interesting because during the pandemic, the birth rate dropped all over the world. Can you imagine women all over the world having the power to electrocute people? What do you think is going to happen to the birth rate? Especially in this series where feminist misandry is the foundation of the story. Listen to this.
You're being a child. What Mom is doing is important. Can you see that? We can't have men deciding what women do with their bodies.
What about men's bodies? What about my body? Look at my face.
I already said I was sorry. Mom.
She accidentally shocks her brother in a fight for the remote control, which leads to him ending up in a hospital. Let's take it a step further.
Now he's all over Urban Docs.
Freedom of information. Jesus.
Oh, Maddie, shut up. I can't believe you would do this to your own sister, to your family.
Come on, it was a dumb move, but come on. Don't pile on the guy.
He's gonna hate me. No, he's never gonna talk to me again. Oh my God, he's gonna end up in a lab.
No,
He should be in a lab. He's a f***ing freak.
Hey,
I told you that is enough, Maddie.
You one-night incel dweeb. I swear to God, I'll kill you!
Perfect. None of us are f***ing safe.
Hey, Maddie. I have to warn Ryan.
With great power comes great responsibility. And in this series, the women are extremely irresponsible. They use their power to destroy. And you see how Josh is not being held accountable for her actions. I mean, she tried to delete her brother and she just walked off like nothing happened. You can't make this stuff up. She called her 15-year-old brother an incel while swearing to God she's gonna off him. Just like her mom, who is the mayor of Seattle.
Well, so is an angry virgin in a basement. Why do we care?
This is the part the mainstream media and feminism doesn't talk about. How women get away with physically assaulting men, false accusations, paternity fraud, getting lighter prison sentences, etc., etc. Modern Western women are protected. Modern Western women are privileged. That's why this power doesn't make any sense in modern Western society, because men would easily counter this power with all of that modern technology that's available today. But of course, these feminists only come out of the woodwork when the world is built, when societies have already been established, because that desire for power appears to be influenced by the structures and opportunities available in more developed contexts. Keep that same energy when we return to the hunter-gatherer age. Camille Paglia is clearly against this modern feminism we experience today.
Okay? So what I'm saying is these white middle-class women love this current brand of ideology because it allows them to explain their own weaknesses to the world. You see, it wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. It was the patriarchy and all that crap. These words like patriarchy, which are meaningless, big fuzz words, all right? You know, I'm popping a lot of balloons, and that's one of them.
And one last thing. Why do I have the feeling they've been watching this channel?
You don't even know what this guy looks like. He hides his face. People who own their words and stand by their ideas like your mom don't have to hide their faces.
That's easy when your opinions are trendy. Guys like Urban Docs who are actually pushing boundaries have to protect themselves. We all have to protect ourselves now.
The kid is right. You need to protect yourself at all times. Being a man comes with challenges, even though free speech refers to the fundamental right of individuals to express their thoughts, opinions, ideas, and beliefs without censorship or interference from the government or other authorities. We see that men get in trouble for expressing unpopular or controversial views. That's why it's essential for the mainstream media to connect our message of protecting yourself with violence and hate speech.
I'm saying that men may have created the social realm and may have been dominant in it, but women have always controlled the emotional or sexual realm. This is what current feminism doesn't realize. Current feminism is victim-centered, victim-obsessed. It sees history as nothing but this panorama of male oppression and female victimage. I hate that. What a horrible bequest to our young women to tell them that their heritage is nothing but victimage.
Patreon supporters, salute! Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.